Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Awkward Fish Guy, and today I'm coming at you with a tutorial on how I play the rogue in Dark and Darker. Quick disclaimer, this is how I'm finding success down in the dungeons, and there's probably a lot of stuff that I'm doing that's not meta or whatever, so just keep that in mind. But if you want to become the ultimate ninja like me, here's how I do it. So let's start off with the basics first. What kind of abilities and perks should you roll? I will also go over each perk and skill and how to use them in more detail later. Actually, before we even tackle them, there's one hidden perk that I deem as important as the others. Turn off torches. Always. Yeah, it's gonna be dark and confusing at times, but a quick tap of your lantern or a torch will give you the vision you need to see where you're going and what you're doing. And just remember, if it's dark for you, it's dark for them. The only difference is that at least you know that you're hiding in the dark. They probably won't if you play your cards right, so Abtot, always be turning off torches. Now, for abilities, hide is a must. It's a no-brainer for the stealthy playstyle. It literally makes you invisible for, I think it's 45 seconds or a minute, I'm not really sure. Rarely do I use it to the full duration anyway, so as the secondary skill, man, anything really goes. I've used tumbling a lot in the new playtest, mostly because of the meme, and it makes you look like an absolute Chad when you're back rolling into the shadows after offing a dude in a trio. But if you want more reliability though, weak point is your friend. I cannot state how effective it is against scared out of their minds fighters and barbs. For perks, I only have 3 requirements, 2 of which I will never not use. The first one is stealth. Being able to reposition while in this is essential if you want to get the jump on someone. Always use this perk. Next one is creep. Combined with not wearing boots, creep is incredibly powerful. When there's a lot of sounds going on, I've noticed people don't tend to notice the flaps and flops of my goblin legs when I'm using creep. Essential perk. Double jump. Man, this perk is insane. It opens up so much of the map for you, especially on the ruins. It's also really good in combat, both PvP and PvE, so use it to avoid, dodge, and escape. Yeah, just use it. For the fourth one, it's really up to you. Consider it your free slot, so to speak. I use Dagger Mastery for that extra 10% damage a lot, but also consider using Lockpicking Mastery, Poisoned Weapon, Thrust, or Ambush. Whatever floats your boat, really. So now that you know what skills and perks to use, how the heck do you use them effectively? First off, let's tackle hide. This is probably the best skill in your repertoire. You can literally turn invisible. It kind of explains itself why it's useful for a stealthy playstyle. Combine this with a stealth perk and you can now walk 10 steps while invisible. Not using stealth makes you an easy to find target if you have to use hide to get out of a pinch or reposition during combat. It's also really effective in closing the gap when you're sneaking up on an assassination target, so you can use it for that as well. It's usually what I use it for, actually. Now, I know this is a little controversial, and if you disagree, I'm happy to hear your point of view in the comments, but don't fucking wear boots, alright? I know doing so makes you a lot slower, but from my experience, the loud click-clack, click-clack is so fucking obvious when you're approaching a target. Sure, you can argue that the barefoot slapping of your feet is easier to separate from the background noise when there isn't much noise, but I've noticed that people hear the clickety-clackety much better when they're busy looting or whatever than they're doing when being distracted before I assassinate my targets. Remember, you're using creep. It makes you a lot less noisy when crouched, okay? Combined with not wearing boots, man, people just don't fucking hear you. For the second skill, if I'm gonna be a meta slave or if I got slapped too hard by a virgin fighter or barb in a trio and I'm mad, I run with weak point attack. It's incredibly strong both in PvE and PvP as it makes your first initial attack deal 50% more damage, plus it lowers the target's defense for 50% for 5 seconds, giving you ample time to stab the fuck out of their head as they're shitting their pants. If I'm having fun and just getting in the head of my opponents, I'm running with Tumble. Yeah, I know it's not that good on paper, but hear me out. Most people are gonna be shitting their pants, even in a trio, when all of a sudden a rogue pops out behind them and start giving them an unsolicited haircut. If you manage to, which you should, kill the first target, imagine turning around as your friend screams in panic, only to see the rogue that just destroyed them back tumble into the shadows like a monkey. It just oozes of Chad energy, and it will get in the head of most people. Did this fucker really just use tumble as their second skill and just tore my buddy a new one? Monka S, dude. Now for the perks. I already talked about why I think stealth and creep is good, so I'm not going to repeat myself too much. Also, I'm almost always crouching, seeing as your number one tool as a solo stealth rogue is the element of surprise. If you even as much as suspect you might have heard the clickety-clackety of a trio, stop, crouch, and listen for a few seconds, then reposition. If you turned off torches like I said, you will always have a dark corner somewhere to hide in, so not even having to use your abilities to get the jump on someone is very useful. For double jump, you kind of want to use it as often as you can, really, especially in combat. Jumping on top of barrels over hurdles or just plain and simple over the attacks of your opponent is stronger. It makes it harder for your opponents to hit you, and it also gives you positional advantages. Just remember to mix up your movements, especially if you're getting fucked by a ranger from far away. The last one is a free slot, as I said, so just roll with whatever you want. But if you want to follow my build, I usually roll with Dagger Mastery to give me that slightly better damage. It's also good for both PvP and PvE, so decent perk. Now that that's out of the way, what kind of gear should you be looking for? I already mentioned this, but boots are off limits. I mean, it's up to you really, but if you want to play how I'm playing, just don't wear them. This means that you will get a movement speed disadvantage, as boots usually give you a pretty decent +2 movement speed, especially lightfoot boots, at the same time as you're missing out on the other potential stats boots can give you. That's why I like to roll with +2 agility and +2 movement speed gear. Also, for each weapon you hold in your hand, you're gonna be slightly slower, so ditch that second dagger and just get used to the attack pattern of one dagger. I love the stiletto, as it's easy to stab over shields with, and it deals a decent amount of damage if you hit the head. The stiletto has a repeating attack pattern with 2 attacks slightly on the left and the final attack that's further on the right. This final attack is a little easier to hit with, and it also deals more damage than the first 2. It always deals 100% of its damage no matter where on the weapon you hit with, unlike other weapons, so get as close to your opponent as possible and stab their eyes out. The stiletto is also one of the fastest weapons down in the dungeons, so if you miss a couple of hits, it's not as punishing as other daggers. Other than that, true physical damage or strength is also Gucci. More damage equals faster nukes. When it comes to healing items, prioritize bandages over pots. Your physical healing and interaction speed is always going to be better than your magical healing and interaction speed, so you'll get more and faster healing with bandages. One very important thing is to never wear your pots on your belt. They're incredibly obvious in the dark, where you will be lurking a lot. You can bring them, just don't wear them on the belt. You can have an open slot in your belt, so if you tap either 3 or 4, you can quickly get the potion in your hand if you're panicking. But in general, just don't wear them on your belt. You can bring them, just don't wear them. If you're not comfortable yet doing this, you could always run with hidden pockets as a remedy. But I found that with a little bit of practice and finesse, everyone has hidden pockets for free, so, you know. Most other items are good though, since they don't glow in the dark. So, now that you know what kind of gear and perks you should use, what are you actually gonna be doing? In PvE, you can easily deal with the melee mobs if you use your movement speed and double jump effectively. But those pesky range mobs are gonna be a bit of an issue, as you have to get really close to them to deal with them effectively. Meaning that it's easier to get hit in the face with a crossbow or fireball. So for these mobs, it's important to bait out their shots by sidestepping back and forth, then going in for the kill fast. Skeleton archers and crossbowmen are very squishy, so you should be able to dodge one of their attacks and nuke them in one go. Just aim for the head and fuck them up. In PvP, you're going to think and act like a shadow. The darkness is your friend, and you are a rat that loves the dark. Abtot, always be turning off torches. I cannot overstate how important it is to turn off torches in this playstyle, especially those that are going to give you a silhouette. Just take a look at this clip, for example. Here I am literally just sitting here minding my own business, and this fucking idiot has no idea. Easy kill. Another important thing is to time your actions and movements with other noises. Don't drink a potion or walk or open a door if there's complete silence. Bide your time and do actions as that virgin trio is doing theirs. It masks the noise that you make, and they won't be able to tell that the sound they just heard was you creeping up behind them and not them jerking each other off or whatever trios do. Patience is key here. If you have doubts that you'll be able to secure at least one kill and get out safe, just don't attack. You want to prioritize surviving and getting out with gear. And yeah, guess what? You're gonna be shitting your pants when fighting a trio as a solo. Just listen to my heavy breathing here. When it comes to target prioritization, I usually go for the tankiest targets first. For example, the barb or fighter, but only if I'm getting the jump on someone. It's also good to deal with a ranger or wizard, as they can outrange you in the middle of a fight, but trust me, killing off that high damage tanky virgin fuckface of the group first is gonna help you a lot, since if you played your cards right, they will lose a lot of HP before they can even react to what's going on. Also, most people are shitting bricks when they get jump scared, so that's kind of your goal with ambushing. People seem to forget that it's not just stats versus stats or class versus class, there are actual human players behind these characters, so scaring people is an effective strategy. So, when you're actually mid-fight and stabbing their head, try to rotate around them. Duck often, dodge their attacks, throw in a couple of double jumps in there, perhaps disengage and use hide if you haven't already used it, and reposition. Stay unpredictable, as you're one of the squishiest characters in the game. And trust me, you will get one-tapped by barbs and fighters. The solo rogue life ain't easy. Fuck you. So, in conclusion, no boots, ab-tot, crouch and listen a lot, use hide effectively, think like a shadow, stay unpredictable, and have fun. There's nothing quite like absolutely clapping a trio because you outwitted them. Alright guys, subscribe if you want more dark and darker content, leave a like if you liked the tutorial. It's the first time I'm doing this, so I don't know how it went, and I'm always happy to discuss my points further in the comments. If you have any questions, I read all comments and try to answer all of them as well. Guess I'll see you in the dungeons. Or will I? Get it? Later.